どうせ君だよ。
Hello guys, it's Shaman. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the new rubric of Worm, weekly anime reviews plus manga. It should be weekly anime and manga reviews, but I place it in different order to combine it into such a name that I found really pleasing, I suppose. Anime manga should make us warmer from the inside and literally, and currently it's winter and recently was New Year, so Happy New Year everyone. My little helpers help me to maintain this mood but it's too late to celebrate, but still I wish everyone a great year and overall all the great things, all the good things. Let's move to the topic of the video. First is Flame Force. So Flame Force, I thought really, maybe from overworking, I watched less anime and I thought I'm exhausted and I don't really want to watch this. But then also I thought I don't really want to watch this because of overall setting, post-apocalyptic setting. It's quite upsetting and hero is demonic and stuff. I noticed in all the media the trend is more to create such a demonic type of figures and stuff. So I didn't really want to continue watching it, but still I gave it a chance and they surprised me. I really liked it because Shinra told about a time skip where he dyed his hair and made all those tattoos because doppelganger demon possessed his body. He said, why did I do this? My mom gave me this hair and everything, and I liked it so much because usually girls in life and in movies, they told some things about some girls who dye their hair and criticized them. Oh, this girl dyed her hair. I thought like it's nothing, but over the years I started to realize that someone even copying someone else, even with makeup, making this blue makeup around the eyes, trying to mimic blue eyes, not only dyeing hair. And this works for different kinds of looks, but mostly northern kind of look. And I thought this is some kind of a cultural identity theft or something even, really. And I thought if we want to support each other, really, we should support each other's culture. And I like that they have shown this and touched this theme. And overall, I even though he's a demonic figure, this main hero Shinra of course represents Sanji like character or Naruto like character, but mainly Sanji like character from this fire feed power. But as we actually found out in the concepts, in one of those concepts, maybe it's made up and it was done recently, but nevertheless it was done by the author. In some concepts, Sanji was made a knight and his name was Romeo and I like it because my name is Roman, and which is why author overall look and his powers are also Sanji-like, actually, which I really love and fun to think about. But let's discuss about all the anime mangas I'll be talking about. Leave your thoughts in the comments and so on. And let us move to the next one, which is Trigun. So I really liked how they showed Vash in sorrow, thinking about what has happened and refusing to act. It's like John Wick's kind of character who is on his retirement and he doesn't want to fight, but circumstances made him continue fighting. And the same situation happened with Trigun, and as well as Shinra and Arthur in Flame Force. Trigun also resembles Naruto-like character, this northern-looking dude with white blonde hair, blue eyes, or like Super Saiyan Goku, for example. And he finished his image of a hero with this red coat, cloak. Usually he wears a coat, and there was a scene where he takes a piece of cloth from a home of a person that took care of him. For some reason, you should see for yourself. So when leaving this place, he took this piece of cloth and placed it on his shoulders, and it was not like a coat, but more like a cloak. And he looked more like a Superman kind of figure, and it's interesting. And it actually finalizes his image as a northern kind of type of hero, actually, because all of those Slavic bogatirs, knights, were like in a blue suit with a red coat, which inspired all of those heroes such as Captain America and Superman, actually. So I really, really liked how he looked when he placed this coat on his shoulders and continued to go and save the world. And the ideas that they were talking about the first episode after the break is the problem of the factories people, or batteries people. This is such a metaphor because the setting is a Western setting, and they are using some other types of being who are also people as a batteries for their life. And this is such a deep metaphor. Even like, I won't decipher it too much, not to touch on all the political, economical topics, but thanks to the authors for bringing this up. And I hope they will find a solution in Trigun, because Naruto already thought about this, how to find a solution between two different types of people who try to manipulate the world or build a healthy relationship and the world through trust. And they somehow presented couple solutions with Hashirama and Madara and Naruto and Sasuke and everything else. And we'll see how Trigun will solve it, actually, because it's an interesting topic to follow as well. So thanks for representing all of this, and we'll see how Trigun will continue. So the next one is Jujutsu Kaisen, and I have to just show the Ryoiki Tenkai Muryokusho. Kind of thing, and I really, really like Gojo, and all of us anticipate the adaptation of the Gojo versus Sukuna fight. All things I want to say about this, I don't want to spoil, but there is a thing that he transfers his knowledge to the next generation, and it's now their turn to act against evil. And there is an overall theme of such characters like Gojo. Gojo also looks like Vash and Sanji and Naruto, and with all this blue eyes and stuff. I think some corporates or authors try to convey some message about maybe northern people transferring some of their knowledge to Asian or Japanese, or overall northern people worship sun and sun-like figures, and Japanese as well, with their flag with the sun and the Materasu in there, all other deities, all of the things combined. Our views on the world are similar and so on, but I think there is something deeper in it. Maybe historically they want to make something between these two nations, and they try to convey some message through the anime, because in such movie as The Boy and the Beast, it was also transparent that this bear kind of figure that resembled Russia or northern nation taught Japanese boy, and then became a sword that a boy wielded, and this sword became his soul sword. And all of those samurai ideas or bogatirs ideas, and through from multiple sources, I can see that they convey the same narrative, and it's interesting to think about it. But I will think about it in other videos, and let's cover everything else. So in Jujutsu Kaisen, in the recent episodes, this Naoya versus Choso fight, when Naoya did all of this thing, and this was something like, this became such a great template for animators to create memes. I love it. And some say that this became a second Akira slide. I love that. I love that Naoya combo, let's call it like this, became such a thing. But yeah, I just wanted to say overall, without spoiling, I really love Gojo, and I wish not only his heritage to strive through his students, but I wish Gojo himself could continue living and so on. But I'm not that. And I mean, like, everybody know what has happened, but let's not spoil. And let's move to the next one. So Jojo, the new part of Silver Run is being animated, and all of us anticipated this. And there are lots of reasons why are we waiting for this. Seventh part is considered the best part, and we have to discuss a couple moments. One is the path main heroes are taking, and another thing is the atmosphere of this part, because I particularly loved it because it has all of it, of course, American vibe, but American Russian vibe, and all of those northern countries, European or American or Canadian, Canada or Northern Europe, all the northern countries vibe, because when they were traveling through the America, it was emphasized when they stopped at those locations with snow and with even birch trees, and all of the sceneries were great. And this, I really like it. Actually, all of us really love this northern winter aesthetic, with winter in different kinds of movies such as Die Hard, or Strong Nut, which means it's hard to crack. In different language it's called like that. It's less aggressive than Die Hard, but never mind. In the Die Hard movies, or in Harry Potter movies, or in Home Alone movies, and even in games, everybody loves winter in games, but I do, and lots of other people that I saw do. And I suppose not only northern people love it, everybody actually love it because of the holidays, but overall because of the vibe. And maybe this centralized that, across the world, maybe northern people helped each other, and which is why everybody feel empathetic towards its culture. And I wanted to say that even though some bad people are manipulating to bad events to happen in real life, all of us should support each other. And I hope anime manga will help us in that, and I'll try to help you with that as much as I can. And another thing, so I love the shared aesthetic of northern countries emphasized in this seventh part. And another thing of a path of the main hero, it was stated it's called a path of a true man, whether you should be a cold even in a bad, meaning egoistic person, to achieve some goals. And I suppose will I be discussing this in a different anime and manga? Um, so maybe I will. Maybe I will. So let's just say that this topic is one of the great topics Hirohiko Araki brought to the table, to the discussion, and throughout different parts he tried to convey different kinds of messages, how we should cope with evil things in life. And in first parts he just showed how good people defeat bad people, and that's it, just straight this kind of tale. And then his story changed to a slightly more complex story. From one standpoint, it's just to create a different kind of story for readers to read. From the other standpoint, it's just an opportunity for the author to give us a different kind of advice for different kind of situations in life. And for example, in third part, when Jotaro defeated the villain, he said, "Oh, you wonder how did I defeated you? And I defeated you only because of one reason. You've enraged me." And he said, "Tatta hitotsu. Anta ore wo okuraseta," or something like this. And this shows like how in some situations good people can take some bad path, but they should be able to return to being a normal person. And this really a huge theme to discuss, and a lot that Hirohiko Araki touches this in the seventh part specifically. And this reminds me of a story of Theseus, a hero who defeated Minotaurus, but to do this he had to become a person who ends someone else's life, even though it's a monster, Minotaurus. So he went through this dark path down the labyrinth, and there is a metaphor of him returning to a normal life is a thread of his wife, Ariadne, that helped him come back to the normal life. So, in some situations, but this is a hard topic, so thanks for Hirohiko Araki to underlying these themes. We hope that adaptation will be fine, and if not, I recommend reading the seventh part manga. Is great. By the way, if anyone will continue reading, eighth part is quite strange, and if you will even decide to drop it, I recommend you returning and continue reading ninth part, because ninth feels slightly better than the eighth, but that's a different kind of discussion. So let's continue. So sometimes authors try to convey these morals, but editors try to provoke us. Maybe investors through editors try to influence the stories authors write, and sometimes they create some bad characters. Maybe they want to romanticize something. Maybe they just want to help author write some more challenging stories. That's how they say that editors asked Kishimoto to add Uchiha Sasuke in his story, for example. And there may be more occasions to how it's done. So, for example, I suppose one of the most challenging stories is Blue Exorcist. So nowadays, due to some circumstances, people are more interested in different kinds of conspiracies and so on. And I was really surprised why Blue Exorcist adaptation continued, because when I read this in manga, I was shocked because it like showed all the conspiracy ideas, but like in the package of the metaphors of fantastic exorcism world. But still, all of this secret government experiments, creating elixir and stuff. This reminded me of a Fullmetal Alchemist. But Fullmetal Alchemist wasn't about some. It was about homunculus, but it was less fantastic than Blue Exorcist. And I think that's why it was cancelled. And the first adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist, maybe because of this reason, was so far from manga and so boring. Really, I suppose editors tried their hard to hide all the author's meanings, so they made this as boring as possible. And even I watched both adaptations of Fullmetal Alchemist, and in the end of the first one, they bring some real-world conflicts, issues to the table, and they show these messages of the author, but it's happening too late in the story, and up until this point, not all of them will bear watching all of this boring narrative and darker narrative, but due to some it's just pure luck that some people who, for example, like more darker animes such as Berserk and such titles, they really liked the first adaptation. It's just a pure coincidence that some people liked it, because when franchise thrived and they continued, they luckily made a second adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist that was closer to the manga, and thankfully they did so. Fullmetal Alchemist is great. So it shows all of those governments making conflicts for their own purpose, as a metaphor of creating a philosopher's stone. And this was savage, really. But this was long time ago, and seeing like currently Blue Exorcist touches such themes, it's so interesting. But let's not dive deep into this. Overall, I like that that it came back, and we'll see how it goes. Hope adaptation will be great. I'm reading the manga, and manga is great currently, actually. So let's move on to the next one, which is Berserk. I've mentioned Berserk, and what's with the continuation? I wanted to say thanks to Kentaro Miura, if I pronounced this correctly, and rest in peace. And as much as he wrote, it's enough. But if they will continue, we will see what they will continue. But overall, it's already enough. And I have some, ideas about this, because while studying Japanese, I found out that God's name have several. Let me write that. God's name has a couple meanings, and I will talk about this in a separate Berserk video probably, which is interesting fact. It's not a lot, but it's just fun fact, which makes some parallel between Berserk and Bleach more transparent. I will announce this later. I'll talk about this later. Next one is Hunter x Hunter. So speaking about some titles that doesn't continue, Hunter x Hunter is on hiatus all the time, and it's a meme. But what's up with that? Who follows the Hunter x Hunter? I planned on reading the continuation. I read some of it. I read Hisoka versus Crollo. It's nice. It's not as good as I imagined, actually. Let's discuss this in the comments. Maybe I'll discuss in a separate video. And the continuation could be great, but if author won't continue or won't write in a lot, this will be fine, because I heard that this author already wrote a previous work which was really popular. So considering this, he worked a lot, but still, all of us really want a continuation of Hunter x Hunter. So I've heard that author struggles some health issues. So I wish Yoshihiro Togashi good health, and I hope Hunter x Hunter will continue. So next one is Dr. Stone. So another title that has some issues with the continuation when with its final is Dr. Stone, actually. Why? So let's talk about the manga, and then I will come back to the anime. So manga ended, and there was some hints to the continuation, and actually the villain of the story was upsetting. It feels like they have replaced it with some other plot device, let's say. It's very like a good joke about what they have shown in the end, but it feels like there should be more in it, and it feels like Senku have created this humankind petrification by himself. There were some hints about it, and this requires some time travel device to create all of it. And there are some hints about this technology in the end of Dr. Stone, so we are waiting for the continuation of the manga Dr. Stone. But let's talk about anime. Anime was great, and I really loved how they've shown everything in this scene where this girl opens the doors and several soldiers stand on the other side and they threaten her. But then this Japanese schooler sportsman appears behind her, and now he threatens them. This scene was epic. And then I like the scene when he defeated their most powerful combatant. Well, it was a girl, which is why he hit her with the side of his palm, backside of his palm. But still, it's a girl, it's a bad thing. But still, he defeated their most capable combatant, and still lost to technologies. Like, they shot him with machine guns and stuff, which is a topic of everyone else's works, nature versus technology and stuff, and it could be reviewed under different kind of angles, and I like it being brought in here. I suppose, considering all the possible civilization resetting that was shown in Dr. Stone, how they rebuilt the civilization, maybe this is a hint that this happened in real life, I don't know, but feels like good people invented all the technologies, and if sometimes bad people are using some technologies against good people, it's just a mistake. It shouldn't be like this. And that's the thing I wanted to talk about it. Feels like editors or corporates, investors are asking popular authors to write some stories about robots and space. And Dr. Stone author is one of them. I don't remember the name, but he wrote some story about some android. Then Masashi Kishimoto wrote Samurai 8. Then Fairy Tail author wrote Zero Eden. And all those stories weren't that successfully accepted by the viewers, readers. And that's just because current civilization isn't that ready for these topics, and artificial intelligence, robots, space, all of this is too dangerous for people. That's why people aren't ready for this even in animes and mangas, I suppose. Maybe in future it will change. So the next one is Fairy Tail. So I mentioned the Zero Aiden, and let's talk about Fairy Tail then. Should we read the 100 Years Quest? Because, you know, 100 Zero Eden appeared, but then 100 Years Old Quest Fairy Tail appeared as well. But I stopped reading Fairy Tail. Maybe I should come back to it. Tell me your opinion in the comments. I really like Fairy Tail. From some standpoints, you know, they say Fairy Tail is the third in the holy saint trinity of shonen: Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail. Sometimes they say, and really, One Piece is continuing, and Fairy Tail really stopped. But it actually is really, really good. And Fairy Tail adaptation really recently was announced, or really is happening currently. I have to update my knowledge about this, and I will come back with the new information. Or tell me your ideas in the comments. So the next one is Shaman King. I told a couple of things about Shaman King, but I should tell, thank God recently they have rebooted Shaman King according to the manga, because it wasn't like that before. And they have ended with a thing where the villain of the story won, but met a spirit of his mother and changed his mind. He just became good. And this is an unbelievable kind of scenario. But this partially already happened in Naruto. Or Naruto situation like this was written after this. I don't know in which order, but it was in Naruto as well. Like Orochimaru. Orochimaru was posed as a threat of the world scale. He was a worldwide villain, the only one, like Imu. And he manipulated to possess Uchiha power and so on. But then he started to follow after the Uchiha and decided to change his view on the world, and eventually, you know, Sasuke Uchiha changed his view on the world because of Naruto. Uzumaki, who's a Senju descendant as well, and all of them became Senju-like, more good person, all of them, Sasuke and Orochimaru. And then something else has happened, and other villains appeared. So Naruto already covered all of this, but Shaman King is trying to cover this as well with Shaman King flowers. So it appears that there are multiple Shaman Kings or gods, and previous one who created the system with some cruel things in it. He says that this kind of world is perfect. Don't change nothing in it, even to the better side. Whilst Hao and Yo and his kids are trying to change the world for the better, and now they are trying to progress in this direction with Shaman King flowers. And I haven't checked all the Shaman King flowers, but I will probably. And tell me your opinion in the comments if you did. How was it? So the next one is Gachiakuta. So Gachiakuta is a nice anime, and it has its own Gojo Kakashi-like character, yes, and that's it. The setting is disturbing, the character is disturbing. I don't know whether we should pay attention to this, and it twists things too much. Tell me your opinion in the comments. Should we analyze Gachiakuta more or not? Because I like it, but this is secondary, even tertiary. Like, if I will successfully continue this channel, I will analyze everything, like everything, including this. But currently, I'm not sure I will have time to watch all of this and read all of this and this as well. But maybe I will. We'll see. The next one is, let's talk about Bleach. So Bleach continuation happened, and luckily it happened to all of us. And you know, it was cancelled because Kubo touched and labeled the villain some precious thing to investors, I suppose, making Yahweh as the villain of the story in the Stormreader's arc, making him a leader of Wanderreich and Quincy's. You know, maybe they hold a grudge for him, for this, and cancel him for this. But he still, nevertheless, continued to work on this, and maybe those Hell Arc chapter and Burn the Witch content and all the rubric of answering the questions on the website that he has was to attract more attention, to gather resources, to, as I've heard, create a new adaptation, or basically on his own funds, as I heard. And I like how in new adaptation, one of the first things he fixed is Rangiku's hair or Orihima's hair or something. Like, now Rangiku isn't red hair, she's blonde with blue eyes. And this aligns with this squad resembling northern theme, with Orochimaru and Toshiro using ice, and Rangiku is blonde blue eyes as well. You know, but I will cover more of this in a different kind of video. This is just a fun fact, and you know, thanks to the author that he continues to write something good and convey some message, even through using some sensitive topics. But maybe all of us should be more careful with talking about this. But still, thanks for striving. We love Bleach, we want more of Bleach. And even though, you know, sometimes it was transparent how they wanted to change Bleach even earlier, currently lots of bloggers post some videos about the fact that, you know, Ichigo was always some kind of headless warrior, and he loved to fight, you know. Remember when Grinjo asked him this? But no, Kubo conveyed a different kind of narrative. Yes, Grinjo asked him and told, basically without any questioning, like, yeah, you're fighting me because you just love to fight, just fight me. And this is a demonic kind of way of thinking, whilst Ichigo representing some good people. And he, as when he answered to Ulquiorra's question, which his answer can be applied to a different situation, to all of his logic. When Ulquiorra asked, what do you fight for? It's meaningless. And he said, like, he doesn't fight because he thinks he can win, or he doesn't fight because he wants to fight, but he fights, he continues to fight because he needs to fight. He needs to protect. And he said something like, Katana kiai kine kara tatakatten da. And this was a great message from the author through this character. And all of us love Bleach, and we all want more Bleach, and hope Bleach will strive, and we will strive. And thanks to Kubo, Tite Kubo, and Shiro Sagitsu for Power to Strive. I mean, there is a soundtrack in Bleach that is named Power to Strive. everything is connected. It's genius. Really. Also, I have a couple theories, interesting theories about Aizen being a schemer for good reason, and Hushveld being a Gin-like character, actually, also plotting for the good reason. But I'll talk about this later. And overall, I wanted also to say that Bleach have inspired even a new generation of shonens such as Jujutsu Kaisen and Kimetsu no Yaiba and others, and overall, when they canceled Bleach, all animation just dropped down. And when Bleach came back with a new season's pacing, everything got this trend and started to do as well season spacing. One Piece changed from the weekly to the season spacing, and everything is changing because of the Bleach. And you see like how Bleach influences the whole industry, actually, which is why please don't cancel Kubo and just deal with him if he wants to convey some message, as usually authors and editors do. We love him and we need him, and yeah. So the next one is Kimetsu no Yaiba. So I've talked slightly about the Demon Slayer, and I wanted to talk about it more. All of us are anticipating more of adaptation, and I read the manga and it's great, really. I was skeptical about this, but when I checked it, I really liked it. It's not like something super out of the shonen template, but it's done with a soul, and I like it, and we all anticipate the continuation. So let's continue, and we'll finalize with me talking about One Piece and several other things, but overall, let's talk about One Piece recent themes that were conveyed and the recent chapter of One Piece. So recently in One Piece, it was shown that One Piece is an apocalyptic world. In all the Shirley stories that Frankie and Robin learned at the same time, I like these America and Russia characters like gaining the knowledge about this at the same time. Like I love this parallel. I hope that all of us will support each other and will balance out the world. And let's not talk about this. But why am I thinking about this in that direction is because there was another different, important thing conveyed in the story. And I'm reading on a platform where you can leave comments. And usually, ordinary readers don't leave comments. They just read and move on. Some do, but there is lots of comments. So I suppose that some bots, some accounts who advertise, leave these comments. And usually they compliment One Piece because they want to feed the franchise with attention, because they want a franchise to keep how to say, I just forgot the word. I'm tired. Sorry. Keep making benefit for them, and the system works so that sometimes they even hire some bloggers or some people or bots to create some comments on YouTube or different kinds of websites. It happens, yes, really. But when author tried to convey some specific message, most of the comments were negative, and this was suspicious. They were like, "Oh, One Piece." Even though yes, you can criticize One Piece, but this amount of negative was suspicious under these chapters, and it was like corporates didn't want us to focus attention on this. These negative comments said something like, "Oh, I shouldn't pay attention to this, it's bad. Maybe I will come back to the One Piece in several months or so and read several chapters at once because I don't want to follow it like currently exactly in ongoing because it's disappointing." But the message also tried to convey was so actual that it had to be understood in exact moment of current situation in the world. So he pictured such a situation. There was a narrative through the shamrock or through the narrator, and there was stated that that there was a large northern kingdom, large ancient kingdom with advanced civilization, and when it existed, everything lived in peace and with lots of resources and stuff. And remnant of this civilization is Elbaf, northern land of giants that live separately from the rest of the world, and secret shadow government wants to gain possession over this remnant of this ancient kingdom, over Elbaf, northern kingdom of warriors who earlier fought for the good reasons, but they want to take possession over them and make them their slave warriors and use them to further make everyone else submit to their will. Whether Imu wants to show himself to the people and he knows that people won't won't accept a bad leader and he wants to force himself on them, or just for the sake of strengthening the system without it. Anyway, using northern country of warriors, of good warriors that even weren't seeking war, as their slave warriors for bad reason. And this resonates a lot with me and with all of us, actually, that's happening currently. And this gives off John Wick vibe again, like he doesn't want, but they made him and so on. And I hope author will continue with this narrative and will show us what can be the answer to this, because Naruto partially worked on that and gave its solution, and maybe One Piece will give us some kind of a different answer to this situation, right? And yeah, let me continue. So I like the fact that it was shown that Sanji is a parallel to Scoper, and Scoper is such a character that resembles Perun, a Slavic and northern mythology god of the sun, and he wields two axes, which symbolize the civilization that was rebuilding or building civilization. And as you can imagine, the first thing you can build from is trees, and those axes represent choppers who chop trees and build houses from trees. Like in Elbaf, those wooden houses are built. And historically, then you can only imagine later you could build from stone, and historically next deity people would worship is someone with a hammer that is a tool for building from stone. Well, and at the same time it becomes a weapon as well, which is why this character Sculper wields it as a weapon, but it's a complex metaphor. So I like this, that this metaphor is represented in One Piece, in Elbaf, and overall Thor as well, is represented in the Loki's hammer and stuff. But and this is interesting that northern mythology, Slavic and Scandinavian, are intertwined, and inheritance is transparent because X in Russian is tapor, and Thor is Thor, and Thor and tapor are similar words. The inheritance is transparent. Okay, let's just continue, and maybe I'll come back to this because it's an interesting topic. But another interesting thing that they are discussing, the how Shokuno Haki, King's will or Conqueror's will, and I'll talk about this and Nika parallels to Sanji, and more theories about that later in the channel. Also, I like that they have shown how Harold traveled and even taught like some summarise navigation. And maybe all of this parallels to Northern Kingdom being a remnant of the large kingdom that everybody respected and loved, and some northern people were worshipped as sun gods. There are some parallels in real life history, and I like that northern parts of the crew, such as Sanji being French, and he's a cook, Robin being Russian, she's a historian, Nami being Swedish and she's a navigator, and Chopper being a North Deer, and he's a doctor. And in the mythologies of different countries, there is a trace of some gods that wore white attires or had bright skin, and they were tall, and they taught them medicine, cuisine, navigation, and all of this. And I like that it's being represented in One Piece now, with Harold traveling and teaching those summarise navigation. I like this parallel. I like that author tries to convey this, even though I'm not sure, and let's say I'm not even sure all this is true, because this is an ancient history, and ancient history isn't that well known. Well, it is known, but it's not part of official global history, because usually we study recent history, but they say in ancient history this was the case. And actually, the fact that there is a fact that Oda inspired from the Spanish cartoon Golden Cities, where a Spanish boy traveled to South America and found some people who were waiting for him, and they said, "You're a white boy and you have this medallion or something that looked like Luffy's hat and stuff, like sun symbol or something. Oh, you're the sun god." And he said, "What? We have an old legend that a white man will come, and we worship him as the sun god, and he will help to free us from the so-called Olmecs people that enslaved us, and he will free us, and he will restore our golden city that is somewhat of El Dorado or something." And they say, and he will bring wealth to our land, and they say these golden cities weren't only in El Dorado, they were around the world. When this nation of white people, sun gods, were around the world, these were the multiple golden cities around the world that accumulated energy, maybe some kind of sun solar panels boosted with gold. Maybe gold helps solar panels to collect sun energy, I don't know, but maybe this is why Asgard was shown as the golden city, because what's the purpose of making everything gold? Because everything written in myths have a practical meaning, actually. whether it's a metaphor or not. And I think like it's a fun fact that they keep using these golden domes in the churches in Eastern European countries to this day. I think this is a remnant of these things that happened in ancient history. And it's a fun fact that Oda inspired by this story, and there is a video about it, and I will analyze it in a different video. And they say this white man is a sun god, and Luffy is basically transferring to a white man in 5th gear, which is parallel to the Goku Super Saiyan, who also becomes like a Slavic person with blonde hair, blue eyes. And actually, I want to apologize for underlying this, for emphasizing attention on this, but I'm just speaking about the content. And to further back this up, not only Eastern sources of information confirm this, but Western sources of information as well, because in the recent Thunderbolts movie, which is actually a Russian or Slavic Avengers movie, they have confirmed that, this blonde-looking people are the archetype of a hero. So it's confirmed. And everybody knows this actually, and I'm just saying this to avoid any criticism. But no good person will criticize that. And just in case, I apologize. And all of us are brothers and sisters, actually. Even though there are some, legends that Wakanda's people and Asian people or Northern people or Native Americans people are 4 different nations that arrived on Earth from different planets and stuff. And but I think this is too much of a stretch, because we've throughout the millions of years probably evolved due to the climate, I suppose. And maybe if these myths about northern people helping everyone else are true, it's just because of the climate, really. It's like in a cold climate, it's necessary for survival to build faster, to cook something faster, and it's followed by the logic of the people. You have to help each other to survive, to get warmer and stuff. And it's no surprise that while traveling, people who collected information about survival in the cold, somehow for some exchange, proposed their knowledge about some things, and maybe in some way or form helped nations whose lands they were visiting. And I guess if northern people were traveling because maybe of some climate change in the past, these other nations who agreed to welcome northern people also helped them in exchange, which is why all of us respect each other. And all of those stories, they say like, and they went back to their own land, but we are waiting for their return. And this is always nice to hear from all of those myths, stories, and even animes and mangas. But myths, maybe all of this is just fiction, but it's nice to analyze. Let's continue. And there was a thing where Hydrodine even spoke about giants being separated, and all those giants conversation reminds me of a movie called Stealing, where main hero liked the giants, and they were saying like, go Giants. And this was a nice movie, by the way. Well, I recommend it, but it's not necessary to watch. It's just a good movie. So, oh, by the way, recently was another nice movie, The Reap, about a person who, which is quite controversial because he attempted some crime, but he used it to make an announcement to claim his rights on, you know, re re oh, you should just watch it. Yeah. Yeah. And I like that Hajruddin told, like, some giants live in different places, and I want to, unite giants or make them befriend each other, because some giant nations aren't in a good contact with each other. And I like that Oda, added this narrative there. All of us really have to take care of each other and unite somehow, and we will survive at least. And in One Piece, if giants and all of the good people will combine their efforts, they will survive and maybe defeat emus and everything else. So yeah, interesting to see how this will play out. And let's discuss the recent chapter. So the recent chapter started with Zoro in the cat ears, but in the fleet, usually dog characters are loyal and cat characters aren't that loyal. But maybe this is a different thing. But I just wanted to say I didn't like how they are making Zoro more and more evil type of character, edgy character. I like the kind type of character in Zoro. And maybe this is a different metaphor. Maybe this cat's thing is a parallel to Arabasta. So maybe Zoro and Vivi somehow. But I like that different thing has happened actually. While editors tied Oda's hands with Sanji and they wanted to downplay Sanji, Oda just went like, you forbid me to write about Sanji, even though if you could just untie my hands, I would write about Sanji, and I would have called him Naruto even, and I would just only write about him. So, I'm just creating a second Sanji, and his name will be Sabo. And remember how Sanji almost saved everyone in the CP9 arc? Being a stealth agent and so on, and everybody are waiting for the same thing from Sanji, so they forbid me to do this, but now Sabo will. Sabo will be an agent who will just break into the world's government and hit Goroseis and Imu and steal Vivi and save everyone. Oh no, he let Vivi escape and he helped Bonnie escape. Yeah, so he helped everyone, and I like that it continued like this. I mean, it's interesting, it's fun to analyze. So, but I'll talk about this more in the future videos. So, another nice thing in this chapter is how Shanks was worrying about Elbaf, about Harold and everything, but Scorper helped him to overcome this, and he said, if you want to make your purpose, fulfill your purpose, you have to overcome this, and if you couldn't save something currently, you can still endure and save something in the future. And this is a nice thing, not to give up, very Naruto type of spirit. And it's interesting that Imu, evil figure, is shown, by the way, it's I guess inspired by the Imhotep, which is why He desires Vivi so much. Maybe these theories about him possessing Lily's body and transferring to the Vivi's body are real, because remember how Orochimaru played the same role and he changed his body to be immortal, and maybe Imu is something like this. There is a great theory about Imu being inspired by Imhotep. So thanks for the author of this theory, but actually everybody maybe thought about this, because his name is just resembling Imhotep, and with him wanting Vivi, this Egyptian logic, Imu Imhotep, is quite logical. But when someone else found it, it's easy to say it was easy, So thanks for the theory. Yes, and it's interesting how they have shown that Imu takes, Imu suffers from making contracts or from losing subordinate that he had made contracts with. But I suppose no, he just suffers from making domino reversey with someone else who's strong. Just making new servants is hard for him. Nevertheless, still, he shouldn't make any subordinates in his evil, but still, the fact that he suffers from making these subordinates is a nice addition from the author. So, and he also said that we should not accept good people in our structure, because specifically Elbaf is also D, and overall good people can break our structure from the inside. And this reminds a different Jojo part, Golden Wind, that is considered one of the most popular in the Japan, with Giorno trying to become a part of the organized crime and becoming the leader of it to change it from the inside, which is yet another way of overcoming some evil things in life that great hero Hikoraki has demonstrated to us, and thanks to him for this. So Imu confirms that this can happen, and also it looks like somehow some evil lineage and some good lineage or geniuses aren't compatible, or differently, both good or bad D are dangerous to him, because he doesn't have that genius or lineage overall, because he has only himself and his subordinates, I suppose. So I maybe wanted to say something else, but let's finalize. So I really like that Loki's power is winter power, ice power, and I like that there was a scene where Sanji carries Copper and Chopper is on his shoulders as well, and all of these characters symbolize North and partially symbolize Perun, because Perun is a chopper and Chopper is a chopper. Perun bears axes and Copper bears axes, and this is a power that resembles choppers who chop trees and build out of it. And actually, in Naruto, a metaphor to an ancient civilization with a tree power is a Hashirama Senju, actually. And by the way, he has this sun symbol on his forehead. That is interesting parallel as well. And which is why, Naruto, for example, doesn't carry the Mokuton, the wood style, but he does the Rasengan that resembles the sun power, and then he looks like the sun when he activates Kurama mode and stuff, or Kurama Sage mode as well. And Sanji as well resembles more of a fire-like power and sun-like power, but there is a trace of tree in him, because there was a theory that Sanji's powers are generated from the genetic factor that was taken from the devil fruit powers by the Germa, and his eyebrows resemble the same pattern that devil fruit powers resemble, and he's partially a devil fruit that makes him partially a tree. Yes. And actually, overall those devil fruits with all those curlies on it, they resemble brain. And maybe this is a parallel to, let me check, tonsil gland? No. No. Pituitary gland. Yes, in the brain they say that this part of the brain is responsible for the awakening, and if you train it you will awaken, or some kind of this will happen to your body and stuff. So devil fruit powers resemble human potential and brain potential overall, and this follows the logic of that Sanji is an intelligence type of dude, a spy that we've analyzed and so on. So yeah, on this nice note that Sanji is a tree, Sanji is a Hashirama, basically. No, he's like Naruto, of course. And we should move to the next one, which is Naruto, of course. And finally, I will say this: in 2026, Holy Saint Trinity of Shonen comes back, and we were anticipating this, and this is great, but we thought that Boruto will become better, and I hope it will happen. But before that, we should speak about Naruto specifically. So Naruto continues, and there is a Minato one-shot that was published, and there are some different novels and stuff. Please tell me, should I read these novels or not? And Boruto is great, and Boruto is even, it has even more potential, and overall I thought that RDC World 1 made a great video where they compared Naruto and Dragon Ball, and decided that Naruto is superior, and I believe that Boruto, let's say, superior to Gohan in some way or form. And if they will continue working on this, but different team works on that, because Kishimoto created the concept of three main heroes: Naruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, and everything else is bad in Boruto, basically. And if they will let just Kishimoto to continue working on that, I suppose he can create a great story out of it. And I really, really like it, and I hope it will fix its pacing, because Boruto is great. Even if you fix its pacing, it will be even much greater. But of course, there are much more to fix. And there are some other theories about Boruto and Naruto, and for example, there is a thing that why Naruto uses wind style, and what does it mean, what is the metaphor one, and knowing the fact that he is a metaphor on the same northern nation that all of the other characters I've talked about, Naruto first and foremost. Uh, in northern culture, winds are associated with vibrations, and it's interesting when for example, speaking about One Piece that we talked earlier, there is a great character resembling the same thing. He's the strongest, and he's a legend from the past, and his power is vibrations. Of course, I'm talking about the Whitebeard. So you see, everything is connected. But let's us come back to Boruto, and in Boruto, um, this theme of vibrations and winds is being continued, where Inojin, together with Boruto and Kashinkoji, created a new sensory type technique based on vibrations. And when I read this, I was like, Boruto is in bad hands, but good authorship is being done to this day, at some point at least. So I really, really liked it. And I should discuss more about it in a separate video, and about all other metaphors and meanings, and why usually there are 4 Narutos. I mean, he summons 3 clones to create Rasen Shuriken, while he need only 2. No, he summons 3 against Kakuzu, for example, and at war he summons 3. Well, usually it's drawn like 4 Narutos. And recently there was a... Okay. No, I will tell about this. Recently I saw the art for the Black Clover, and there was 4 Narutos on the cover of Black Clover. So this idea of 4 is a symbol. In Jojo, for example, they say that 4 is a bad luck number, and it is a bad luck number in Asia, in some countries of Asia sometimes, but this actually is a good number. And I wanted to analyze in this future videos why Naruto and number 4 is aligned. And for example, there are 4 main Hokage in the start of the story, and as well, actually, and there are other symbols and metaphors, so I'll talk about this later. Also, I wanted to cover other thing, a Spy Family. Should we watch Spy Family or not? I don't know. I really liked it, but then I thought that maybe Lloyd doesn't deserve your I mean, that's the part of the show where they are not real family, but they have to live together and somehow build this relationship. But considering even the fact that the girl from the Lloyd's agency loves him, that shows that Lloyd is a good person and somehow helped this girl, or was a good person overall, and she fell in love with him. So he did something good to her, or overall. But I can't see still how does he, how is he deserving yours still? Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments. And do you like Spy Family or not? The next one is D.Gray-man. And in D.Gray-man, some questionable meanings have started with all of those demonic figure and godlike figure in some conflict, and we have to empathize towards the demonic type of dude. But overall, I hope that this metaphor won't go far, and this will be still a positive story, because I love the story and I love the design, overall design, character design, all of these suits design, architecture design, and everything. So tell me your thoughts about D.Gray-man, And do you love it, and do you read it as well? And another thing is Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man continues as an adaptation, but it's manga. It ended, and now is the second season is going on in the manga, and the first season is okay, and we'll see more in the adaptation. But it was too violent and not that interesting overall at first, and the second season is even more violent with all of these demons of war, starvation, hunger, uh, death, and control, and everything. It's unsettling to read, and sometimes they give some fun things to empathize to the main character, because he wants to find a girl and everybody wants. And there was one nice joke about some things that parallel real life, but all of these things doesn't outweigh the overall things that happen in the story, and I just can't follow it. And what are your ideas about it? Also, I wanted to talk about some other titles, such as the Breaker manhwa. So I really liked the Breaker manhwa, and I ended reading the Breaker New Waves, and it wasn't a break. But I recently found out that it continues, and I'm planning to continue reading it. And if you want to read something, I recommend it, but it's secondary. And I would say, first of all, it's better to just read or watch Naruto and Bleach. But if you want to read something new, I recommend The Breaker. Another thing is Air Gear. The show ended, and I read the manga, and it's nice as well, so I can recommend it as well. And there is an Attack on Titan. So this is a huge thing in not in anime community, but I think this theme is forced. I never really liked it. It was too militaristic, and I never liked it. Never watched it and read it. I just watched a couple reviews on it. I don't know the things, and I plan my opinion on it. And maybe I will cover Attack on Titan in future videos. Tell me your opinion about this title, and I'll talk about it later. So this is it for this worm. Maybe I will re-record this because it's too long, or it's justified because I'm covering lots of different franchises. I just plan to create more videos, so that's why I could have created separate videos for each title, but in the next worms I will cover less information, because I will only cover ongoings probably and some news, and I don't want to break this into a separate videos, because I plan to discuss different other topics in separate videos. So I hope this was to some extent at least somehow entertaining. I love you who watched all of this, and sorry for the length of it, or it's justified because I'm covering lots of it. I'll think about this twice. Yeah, maybe re-record it or not. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, comment and like and share, and I really love you. Happy New Year, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.